Myra stood in front of the mirror and felt a quiet panic she couldn't name. Not because she looked tired, not because her eyes were swollen, because the woman staring back didn't feel like the owner. On the sink sat a small glass bottle, her favorite perfume, the kind she used to wear even on ordinary days, just to feel like herself. She picked it up, twisted the cap, and realized she couldn't remember the last time she'd used it. Not because she forgot, because somewhere along the way, she stopped being the type who wore it. She placed the bottle down like it was evidence, and in the silence, a thought arrived, simple, brutal. If a house can be full and still make you disappear, then something here is wrong. Before marriage, Myra used to talk with her hands, ideas spilling out faster than her sentences. She wanted a small design studio one day. Nothing loud, just work she could be proud of. Something that carried her name. When Hassan's proposal came, people called it perfect. He was calm, educated, soft-spoken. The kind of man who never embarrassed anyone in public. The kind elders trust because his voice never rises. The first time he said, "I'll take care of you," her family smiled. Myra smiled too, because she thought taken care of meant supported. She didn't yet know it can also mean managed. The first rule didn't arrive as a rule. It arrived as a gentle preference. One evening, Hassan looked at her outfit. Modest, simple, normal, and said quietly, "I just prefer lighter colors on you. It looks more family-friendly." Family-friendly. It sounded harmless, even sweet. So she changed. He smiled, and that smile taught her the first lesson of her new life. Peace here wasn't automatic. It was something she produced. Then came the next preferences. Dinner on time. No stepping out after Maghrib, unless needed. No long calls with friends. No posting her designs online. People stare. He never said, "I forbid you." He said, "I worry." And if she pushed back, he didn't explode. He withdrew. Not anger, absence. Cold quiet. A room that felt smaller than it looked. So Myra learned to prevent that quiet. She began editing herself mid-sentence. She'd start with, "I was thinking," and then swallow the rest like it was a childish habit. Soon she was asking permission for things that didn't require permission. Visiting her mother, buying a notebook, taking an hour to work. Her world didn't collapse, it just narrowed. Here's the part that messes with your head. Hassan could be good, convincingly good. At family gatherings, he'd pull a chair for her, refill her plate, speak gently. Once, in front of everyone, he said with a smile, "I'm nothing without my wife. She's my peace." People looked at Myra like she'd won something. She smiled back, trained, polished. Because what could she say? That peace in that sentence didn't mean comfort. It meant silence. And if she ever challenged him later, he'd say, softly, almost hurt, "After the way I praise you, this is what you do?" Not a threat. A bill. One afternoon, a small client messaged Myra. A logo. Easy job. Good pay. More than money. Proof she still had something to offer the world. Her hands shook as she told Hassan, trying to sound casual. He listened, nodded once. Then he asked, calm as water, "Why do you need money?" Myra blinked. "It's not about money. It's about me." He didn't shout. He didn't insult. He just said, "Do you want people to think I can't provide? Do you want them to laugh at me?" And just like that, her dream wasn't a dream anymore. It was an accusation. When she tried to explain, he ended it with a sentence that sounded reasonable and felt like a door closing. Let's not turn this into a problem. So her desire became the problem. A week later, Myra visited her nanny. Old hands, sharp eyes, the kind of woman who survived without calling it strength. Myra poured tea and smiled like she was okay. Nani watched her for a long moment and asked one question. "Beta, when did your voice start whispering?" Myra laughed, too quickly. "I'm fine." Nani didn't argue. She only said, "Some cages are made with gold, but your ribs still bruise when you breathe." The words didn't feel dramatic. They felt accurate, and accuracy can be frightening. The breaking point came On a normal evening, Myra's phone rang. Her mother. Her mother's voice was thin, shaking, trying to sound brave. The doctor had said, "Come tonight." Myra stood up so fast, her chair scraped the floor. She grabbed her dupatta, keys already in her hand. Hassan stepped into the doorway. Not angry, not loud, just placed himself there. "Tomorrow," he said. Myra stared. "My mother is scared." Hassan didn't move. He didn't raise his voice. He said, as if explaining a simple rule, "If you walk out like this, don't come back and embarrass me." Embarrass him. That word landed harder than shouting ever could, because it confirmed what she'd been avoiding. In his world, her role wasn't to be safe. Her role was to keep his image clean. Myra's hand tightened around the keys. Then, slowly, she put them down. Not because she agreed, because she realized she was negotiating for oxygen. That night, Myra didn't cry the way people expect. No dramatic collapse. She went to the bedroom, closed the door, and sat on the edge of the bed, still dressed, staring at her own hands. And in that stillness, something terrifying happened. She realized she felt nothing. Not peace, not love, not rage. Just emptiness. Like her emotions had learned to hide too. That's when she understood. This wasn't a fight she was losing. This was a person she was misplacing. In the morning, she stood at the mirror again. Same face, same eyes. But now she could name what was missing. Not romance, not attention. Her ownership of her own life. She opened her wardrobe and saw it clearly. Half her clothes were choices made to prevent conflict. She opened her phone and realized she hadn't messaged Sana, her closest friend, in months. Not because she didn't miss her, because she'd been taught that missing people is unnecessary. Then her eyes landed on the perfume bottle again, and she heard Nani's line like it was written inside her ribs. "Your ribs still bruise when you breathe." Myra whispered to herself, "If staying makes me disappear, then staying isn't patience." And another truth followed, quiet, clean. Leaving isn't rebellion. Leaving is boundaries. Myra didn't announce anything. Control teaches you something. You don't survive with speeches. You survive with steps. She gathered documents. She saved emergency cash. She messaged Sana, "Can I come over today?" Sana replied in seconds, "Come." Myra went to her mother first. Her mother looked at her like she'd been waiting for this without ever saying it. Myra didn't say, "I'm leaving in forever." She said, "I need space to breathe." Because sometimes the truth comes out in stages when you've spent years swallowing it whole. That evening, Hassan called. Calm, controlled. "Come home," he said. "People will talk." And for the first time, Myra didn't shrink inside her own throat. She answered with a steady voice, "Let them. Some marriages don't break with violence. They break with slow erasure." A life can look perfect from the outside. Bills paid, doors opened, compliments spoken, while a person inside it becomes smaller every day. Myra didn't leave because she hated him. Myra left because she finally noticed herself disappearing and refused to vanish politely. A week later, she wore her perfume again. Not for attention, not to prove anything, just to mark the simplest victory. She had returned.